patient who lives in a remote place in a village in Agartala. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Dr. Arun
Yes,
sir,
sir.
very
Yes,
well.
yes.
From Agartala. So he has been having severe headaches for the past 6 years. So he has gone to several doctors and a couple of neurologists in his place, Tripura. Then he went to West Bengal, he went to Kolkata, he had seen a few places there. So he has been trying all sorts of drugs, but he continued to have the headaches. So then he came to CMC Vellore, so where they had kept him for nearly 2 weeks, and they made a diagnosis, started him on treatment. Still he was having problems, and then he came. So the main history is he has got a right hemicranial facial pain for 6 years. So mainly the pain is in the frontal temporal region. It also in the orbital facial region. The entire right hemicranial pain is there. For the past 6 years, almost every day he has been having the pain. It has really increased over the past 2 months. So when the pain is severe, he even considers things about suicide because it's so severe. So he gets pain which lasts about 30 minutes. This type of pain he gets 4 to 5 times a day. And pain lasting moderate to severe 2 to 7 minutes a day, 2 to 7 minutes each episode. This he gets about 15 per day. And some of the attacks are nocturnal also. Some of the attacks wakes him from sleep. And earlier, maybe a couple of years back, he used to get 1 or 2 episodes of similar headaches lasting about 30 minutes. During the headache, he gets lacrimation, he gets redness of the eye. He has a right nasal block during the headaches. He doesn't have any rhinorrhea. He doesn't have any swelling over the face. There is no abnormal sweating. There is no smallness of the eye or ptosis, no nausea, no phonophobia during these headaches. During his headaches, he feels very restless. He keeps pacing around. He cannot sit down. He cannot lie down. And he has been initially diagnosed as migraine. He has been on all anti-migraine drugs. Yes, he takes paracetamol whenever he gets headache. So one doctor in Kolkata diagnosed as cluster headache, and he was put on 240 milligrams of verapamil, but he did not have relief. And then he had come to CMC Vellore, where they, after detailed discussion, they had made a diagnosis of a chronic paroxysmal hemicrania, and he was put on indomethacin. It was increased to 75 milligram twice daily, but there was absolutely no relief from his headache. So he had come to me with all these symptoms. So now the most fascinating thing about these primary headaches is it's all about the story. So it is all about the history. So no amount of examination or investigation is going to give you any diagnosis. So we have to go by this story. So what is the diagnosis? Once you make a diagnosis, then we can think about treatment. The first thing is diagnosis, because different primary headaches have a different treatment. So is this cluster headache, or is this paroxysmal hemicrania, or is this psychogenic headache? So what is this? So if you see the phenomenology, there is a right side-locked headache, and it is very frequent, and there is lacrimation, redness of the eye. So overall, it is a trigeminal autonomic cephalalgia. The closest to which comes is cluster headache and paroxysmal hemicrania. So should we call this as cluster headache, or should we call this as paroxysmal hemicrania? So if you see the cluster headaches, it is much more common in females, in males, whereas paroxysmal hemicrania is slightly more common in females. So the beauty of this slide is this is a study of 62 patients where they have calculated the p-value, the statistical significance of various differences between the two, which are actually more clinically meaningful or which are more statistically significant. Even though there is a difference in the age and sex ratios, these are not statistically significant in the sense, just because somebody is a male, we cannot say it's a cluster headache, or a female, it is a paroxysmal hemicrania. So one important thing they found is that ocular pain or a severe orbital pain is more typical of cluster headache. So here 63% of patients said that it is a mainly orbital pain in cluster headache, whereas it was only in 5% in paroxysmal hemicrania. Paroxysmal hemicrania, more often they have a temporal headache and maybe frontal headache, but orbital headache is more characteristic of cluster headache. Of course, the two most important is the duration and frequency of attack. So in cluster headache, it is 15 minutes to 240 minutes, whereas in paroxysmal hemicrania, it is roughly 90 seconds to 20 minutes. So again, there is an overlap. 15 minutes to 20 minutes is an overlap between these two. And frequency attacks, it ranges from once in 2 days to up to 10 attacks in cluster headache. It ranges from once in 2 days to 25 attacks in paroxysmal hemicrania. But as far as diagnostic criteria is concerned, paroxysmal hemicrania, they should have more than 5 attacks in a day, at least 50% of the days. They should have more than 5 attacks a day, at least 15% of the days. And cluster headache, usually if they have more than 10 attacks a day, you don't think of cluster headache. So the other things like nocturnal attacks and nocturnal predominance and tenderness, all these are not statistically significant. So in this patient, if you see, this patient does not have an ocular typical localization, and this patient attack frequency is more than 15. So the probably at CMC, they were justified in making a diagnosis of a paroxysmal hemicrania. And here, if you see regarding the autonomic features, the autonomic features are seen in both. But interestingly, in this study, they found that conjunctival injection and redness of the eyes was much more common in cluster headache than paroxysmal hemicrania. All the others, there was no statistical significance. So if somebody has a prominent conjunctival injection, probably you can consider cluster headache. Of course, this patient had a prominent redness of the eye. And what are the overlapping features? So if you see the duration of the attacks, so you will find that this 15 to 20 minutes is a overlap between the cluster and the paroxysmal hemicrania, and frequency of the attacks also. So people who have between 5 to 10 attacks, so it is difficult to say. It could be still paroxysmal hemicrania, it could be a cluster headache. So now, what do we call this? So as I told, I'll go back to the history. So this patient, there are two important things. One is that this patient used to get 1 to 2 attacks a day lasting 30 minutes for the initial few years. Then it increased in frequency. So if you take the first 2-3 years, it is a cluster headache. And later, it turned into a more frequent headaches. And even today, if you see, you will find that there is two different groups. For example, he says 4 to 5 attacks a day, it lasts for about 30 minutes. And about 15 attacks a day, it lasts for 2 to 7 minutes. So whether we will call this as a cluster headache, which has transformed into a paroxysmal hemicrania, or whether we should say that this patient has got both cluster headache and paroxysmal hemicrania occurring simultaneously. So that is a question. So here there is a study where they found 5 patients who had a combination of cluster headache and paroxysmal hemicrania. So if you see here, you see the first patient initially had a cluster headache and which changed to paroxysmal hemicrania after 4 years. So another patient changed to paroxysmal hemicrania after 9 years. So there are 3 more cases where there were initial cluster headache which changed to paroxysmal hemicrania. But all these patients responded to verapamil. Of course, there is one patient who had a combination of paroxysmal hemicrania and cluster headache occurring together who responded to indomethacin. But here we have a patient who has not responded to either of these 2 drugs. So now, what do we do at this stage? So what is the diagnosis and how do we go about? So the important point here is that in terms of diagnostic criteria, indomethacin responsiveness is obligatory in a paroxysmal hemicrania. So when somebody has got paroxysmal hemicrania and if they are not responding to indomethacin, then you have to revise your diagnosis because it is part of the diagnostic criteria. If somebody is not responding to indomethacin, then you have to think before you calling it as a paroxysmal hemicrania. Whereas there are several cluster headache patients who do not respond to verapamil. So then I made a diagnosis of predominant cluster headache in this patient because number one, it started off as a cluster headache phenomenology. And even now he gets attacks which last more than 15 minutes. So I decided to go ahead and treat it as a cluster headache. So I started this patient on steroids. I added lithium to the verapamil. Already was in CMC, they gave 40 milligram twice a day of verapamil. I made it 120 milligram 3 times. And I thought since this patient was already spent nearly 20 days in Tamil Nadu, he wanted to go back. He came on a Saturday. He wanted to go back on Monday. So I did not have much time to give a therapeutic trial. So I decided to go and give a greater occipital nerve block also. So I treated him aggressively. I gave a greater occipital nerve block. I started him on steroids, high dose verapamil, and added lithium. And he came back on Monday. He came back smiling. He said, "Sir, what did you do? I've been suffering for 6 years, and this is the first time I am free of severe headaches. So I get some sort of a mild burning sensation over the temporal region, lasting 1 or 2 minutes, maybe 3 or 4 times a day, but the headache is completely gone." So I was really, what shall I say, thrilled. I have never treated any patient so aggressively, but this fellow has been suffering and almost contemplating suicide. So I open it to discussion, but I feel this is a overlap or a continuum between cluster headache and paroxysmal hemicrania. But since he has not responded to indomethacin, we have to take it as a predominantly a cluster headache, which is for some reason transformed with increasing frequency and shorter duration. And he has responded really dramatically to the combination of, I would say, steroids and the greater occipital nerve block. Thank you.